When you're moving from one place to the next, there are a number of website updates that need to be made. But when do you make these updates, and what even are these changes you should be making? Let's talk a little bit of strategy, and then I will show you the back end of my website so that you can see what's worked for me. Hey friend, I'm Erin, military spouse and teacher turned photographer, and I love helping fellow Milspouse photographers build businesses that thrive despite frequent moves. I'm so glad you found me here. Now, before we dive into what updates to make, let's talk about when we should make them. Even with the best SEO strategies in place, it's going to take time to gain traction on Google in the new location. So with that in mind, we want to make these updates as soon as we possibly can. But if you make them too soon, that can be detrimental if you want to keep booking in your current location. So this really becomes this balancing act. Now, rather than make a wild guess or just one day decide to make these changes, the numbers nerd in me likes to look at what the data tells us. My CRM of choice is Studio Ninja, and every time I log in, I see a chart on the dashboard of my lead sources. This is huge for me in making this decision. Think about it. If I see on the graph that the majority of my leads are coming from Google, what does that tell me? Well, when I make the updates on my website, I'm likely going to experience a dip in leads because everybody who lands on my site is now going to think that I'm in the new location. So if this is the scenario and I want to keep booking in my current location, I should probably hold off on making those updates a little while longer. However, this is not my situation as of today. I'll throw my graph up here and you can see that in this current calendar year, over 50% of my leads have come from either repeat clients or their friends, and less than 20% of my leads have come from Google. So what does this tell me? I'm likely okay to make the updates sooner because I can count on more personal avenues like word of mouth referrals to fill my calendar before I go. And by doing it this way, my website can start to work for me in the new location before I even get there. Now, enough talk about when. Let's dig into what changes we should make. I like to think of these in two categories. First, your major changes, and second, your small but mighty updates. Let's take a look at the back end of my website and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The first major change is an obvious one. You want to update your location. So you'll do this both on your homepage. You can see here I've updated it in a subtitle as well as in some paragraph text. But you also want to make the update in your SEO settings as well. So in Show It, this is what that looks like. If you're using another platform, it may look a little bit different, but you want to make sure you're updating your SEO keywords to reflect the new location as well. I also recommend having an area on your website. I do it in my footer with some surrounding areas that I will also be serving. That will help me with SEO as well. The second major change you want to make is updating your portfolio. And not only is this a good idea to do if you haven't done it in a while, but you want to think strategically about the place that you're moving. When a potential client is looking at your portfolio, you want them to envision themselves in your images. So you want to think about where are the types of places you're going to be able to shoot in the new place that you're moving. So here's my example. As I'm leaving DC, I want to keep some of my favorite DC images in my portfolio because they're reflective of some of my favorite work. However, my clients in Dayton are going to have a hard time picturing themselves on the Jefferson Memorial steps or in front of the Capitol. I want those clients to think, wow, she has some beautiful pictures from her time in DC. Not, is she still in DC? Has she shot anywhere else? I don't want there to be any confusion about where it is that I'm shooting. And sure, there's indications on my website that we move around a lot and we're a military family, but in case somebody doesn't read that, if they just land on my portfolio page, I want to make sure it's clear that I've shot in other places. The same thing would be true if you're moving to maybe an area away from a beach, but you've done a lot of work on a beach. Your new clients are going to have a hard time envisioning themselves on the beach, so you might want to get rid of some of your beach photos. So as you can see in examples here, other than this first image here that's clearly a downtown DC shot, some of these other ones could have been taken anywhere. This one on the left actually here is from Albuquerque. The middle one is in Virginia. If you go down in my newborn, this one was in a nursery. That could have been taken anywhere. We've got one Albuquerque shot that I love, but then this shot here could have been taken anywhere. So I'm trying to think about where my future clients will be, what kind of settings I'll be able to photograph them in, and make sure my portfolio is reflective of that. Then, once you've made these two major changes, there are two small but mighty updates I recommend making as well. The first is to add a banner on your homepage to indicate when you're moving. This will hopefully catch the attention of any visitor to your site, repeat client or not, after you've made your website updates, and it might land you an extra booking or two because they will recognize that you haven't moved yet. The other update is in your contact form. I highly recommend adding a state field. Nothing is worse than getting to your new location and getting an inquiry and thinking you've landed one of your first few clients in your new spot, only to go through all the details and get to where the session's going to be and find out the fact that they're still in the old place and they want you to be shooting there. And now you're bummed because you thought you had one of your first few clients and you actually don't. So adding a state field on your contact form will make it really easy to filter through inquiries and see right off the bat where this client is expecting you to be. And if they're in your old location, you can pass along some recommendations to them, to other photographers. Or if they're in your new location, then you can be as excited as you deserve to be because you found one of your first new clients. Okay, I know that was a lot, so let's do a quick recap. First, when you're thinking about when you're going to make these updates, you want to look at where your leads are coming from. I would recommend making the website updates at least 2 months in advance, but depending on the data, you might very well be able to do that sooner. Then, when it comes time to making your actual updates, you want to update your location, both in your copy and your keywords. You want to refresh your portfolio with the new location in mind. You want to add a banner to the top of your homepage. And then you want to add a state field to your contact form. These few changes are going to help tremendously as you get ready to transition from one place to the next. If you have a PCS on the horizon, don't miss out on my free resource, 5 Ways to PCS Prep Your Photography Business. It's filled with more concrete ways to help you get your business ready for your move and is linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, friend. Please leave any questions you have in the comments below, and I will see you next time.